Hi there, good afternoon. Welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Stacy Spivey and Lauren Coleman. And right now, you know this, the heat is on all across the Triad. Yeah, but think about this, if you have to work outside, you take your kids out to play, or maybe you're giving your pets some fresh air, hydration is the key.
Yeah, drink lots of water. Now is not the time to play around. We are experiencing a heat wave and we want you to stay safe. So throughout the hour, we'll have some energy bill hacks and safety warnings along with your top news headlines.
So stay in the know by watching us here on WFMY News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet. But now we do want to talk about the forecast. It was nice this morning when I came to work.
Yeah,
it felt a little cooler.
It's a little better, and we're even turning down the volume on the high temperatures a little bit. So yes, we still are in this heat wave, but the temperatures over the next several days, they look just a little bit better than what we were talking about yesterday. Right now, 92 in Greensboro, 93 in High Point, 91 Winston-Salem. We are normally in the mid-80s this time of the year, so a decent amount above normal. Look at Burlington, though, at 94 degrees. Dew points, when you look at this, make sure you check out the bar at the top of the screen here, because once you get into the 60s for dew points, that gets really sticky, but 70 degrees or higher, that's tropical moisture. So that would sort of what it would feel like toward Miami, in that type of heat, which we usually don't get here. But 70 in Greensboro for a dew point reading, so we have reached that tropical level there. Same story for Lexington and Burlington. The bottom line, it is very hot and sticky. 74, that overnight low tonight, warm and muggy, mostly clear. Tomorrow, we could see an isolated storm or two. Look for those high temperatures at 93. But an isolated storm, we hope to get a little bit of something, maybe not a storm, but some rain, but there is that chance. And look for highs around 93 tomorrow. We'll look at our 7-day coming up in a minute.
Rising temperatures can drive up your energy bills, but all hope isn't lost. Duke Energy says there are some ways customers can shave off a few dollars. They recommend changing air filters regularly because dirty ones make your AC system work harder than it needs to. Also, make sure unnecessary light are turned off and air leaks by doors and windows are sealed. Customers can also contact Duke Energy to set up a budget alert ahead of really hot days. The company can use a smart meter to track your usage and let you know when it's expected to go up.
It's no question, excessive heat leaves its mark. Your body works harder, your AC works harder, and your car, it's working harder too. But is heat the real culprit of your newly deflated tire? WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris verifies.
Getting from point A to point B costs a pretty penny. Add a pop tire on top of high gas prices and your empty wallet might drive you straight home to stay parked all summer. You asked, so I verify what role heat plays in car care. Don't pump the brakes on summer car care just yet. Viewer Renee Register has a question. Her tire blew out and someone told her the heat on the roads might have caused it. Is that true? Let's roll toward the facts with an expert source, Cynthia Roy, owner of Roy's Automotive in Greensboro.
Not heat by itself. As we talked the other day about windshields, there's always going to be an underlying factor in conjunction with the heat to cause a problem.
The culprit, overinflation.
Once the tire gets rolling down the road, it builds up heat from the friction against the surface, which causes the air to expand even further, which causes more pressure on the tire, which eventually will cause a blowout, which a blowout is a sudden loss of air pressure from the tire.
The solution? Prevention with proper car care.
And we're going to find the valve stem and take the cap off, and it just unscrews. And then you take your gauge and you just press it down squarely and lift it up.
The magic number is 30 to 35 pounds of pressure. If you have too much, there's an easy fix.
You can flip the gauge around so that this end is up against it. Press it down, and that's going to let some air out.
Back to viewer Renee's question. Can heat on the roads cause a tire blowout?
We will probably never reach those temperatures anywhere on Earth.
So we'll deflate this claim as false, unless your tire just has too much hot air. And that's verified. And our
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Law enforcement are reminding people of the law when it comes to summer pet safety. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says you should never leave your pet in the car. If you see this, deputies say you should first look around for the owner. If the pet seems in distress, call 911. Deputies say do not attempt to break into the car yourself. In North Carolina, only first responders have legal protection to break a window to save an animal in distress. We've got an update on the parvo outbreak at Guilford County Animal Services. Officials say no more dogs have tested positive aside from the 2 cases reported last week. Sadly, infections in those 2 dogs were so severe they had to be put down. By next week, officials hope to lift the quarantine and resume normal operating hours and procedures. Today, the FDA voted on whether to recommend if children 6 to 17 can get the Moderna shot. Right now, Pfizer is the only shot authorized for that age group. The agency will also consider recommending an even smaller dose of Pfizer and Moderna shots for children ages 6 months to 5 years old. That's the only group of Americans still unable to get the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll keep you updated on what the agencies decide. Parents, you can still sign your child up for Guilford County Schools' free summer camp programs. There are different kinds of camps to choose from that feature skills like coding and cooking. While some of the camps kicked off today, others will start later in the summer. The camps with open seats will pop up on the registration website. Free transportation and meals are provided. For more details and a link to register, just look for the story on our website.
Mentorship, guidance, and community service. These are the 3 gifts a Triad leadership program is offering to Greensboro middle and high school boys. WFMY News 2's Denise Miller tells us how the Black Suit Initiative is opening doors for young boys in the community.
We just have to make sure everything is sorted so we're giving the right suit back to the right young man.
To get a black suit from Ivana Ross, it must be earned. By reaching leadership milestones through her community engagement program, Ross turned a co-ed group called the Chosen 50 into the Black Suit Initiative in 2016. The program took on a new fashion when Ross saw crime rising and felt black males needed positive role models.
We did surveys within some of the communities, and we talked to over 60 young men, asking them to share who their role models were in the community. 88% could not tell us a good role model, and so we really started saying, okay, we really need to find some people and engage these young men with other men in the community.
Through Black Suit Initiative, young men in middle and high school are taught to become right now leaders. 14-year-old Kiyosagi is one of them.
It's definitely helped me grow from what I was, or who I was like 3 years ago. It's helped me with leadership skills. I'm doing Taekwondo, and I recently became an instructor.
He says before the program, he didn't have many male role models in his life.
Even on day 1, the brotherhood, that was probably one of the things that I really like about it.
Outside of mentorship, the young men give back to the community by volunteering. They also spend time with business owners to learn new skills. This year, they're becoming right now entrepreneurs through a Shark Tank style business competition.
Well, what do you want to do? And a lot of them would say, oh, I want to own my own business. Well, what kind of business do you want to own? I don't know. I want to own my own business. So this was really just forcing them to really think about how they could use their interests to create their own small businesses.
Our business is called Brothers Brownies, where we're doing a sweet potato brownie business.
Tavares Nichols now mentors young men like Key since graduating from the program.
Being the leaders, we have to have those leaders, especially with this day and age, because with everything going on, we have to have those people that are willing to stand up and say, hey, things got to change.
So BSI is currently accepting applications for 6th through 8th grade students. The deadline to apply is July the 8th, and we have that application link right on our website. Look for the story on WFMYnews2.com. Love entrepreneurship because I've always, my whole life, I've always loved to try to come up with other ways and other businesses. I have some things on the side that I've done over the years, and to me, that's it takes creativity and a lot of guts, and you got to really keep at it, and that's what these guys are learning little bits at a time.
And young people, they're so impressionable, right? So when you can grab them at that young age and have these role models and these mentors, kind of show them this is how you become an entrepreneur. These are the type of businesses that you can create. You kind of are guiding them to that path.
Okay, first off, look how handsome they look in that photo.
Very, I mean, that
love
suit.
It. So dapper and sharp in it. Oh, I love that. Anyway, I'm so glad that more programs and more things like this are coming about. Just like Denise stated in her report, there have been a lot of crimes happening in our area involving teens, and we've been doing stories like what is Greensboro, what is Winston-Salem, what is the Triad doing to get these teens away from that and into something positive and good.
And it might be a small group of people, but at least if you can change one life, if you can change 2 lives, you're doing something great. And that's something that this organization is doing. And like you said, they look very dapper in their suits. There's just something about a suit, something about dress clothes in general that make you feel powerful, make you keep your head on straight. You know, like when you're interviewing for a job, even if it's over the phone, you wear a suit or you put on a blazer, you feel like, you know, I got this.
Yeah, it makes you confident. That's true. And places like the Nussbaum Center in Greensboro, that's the Center for Entrepreneurship, they have a ton of programs to help any age, really, just to get out there and understand how it all works. And there are a lot of programs in the Triad that don't get enough light shine on them about this type of thing, because you start that young, they're going to be business owners their whole lives, probably.
Absolutely.
In some form or another. All right, if you're interested in that, check out that story on our website, and we'll be right back.
All right, we're gonna break, so we up next.
All right, so you're right on the rock, like the
Right here.
between your 2 feet.
Okay.
Now see how close you are to my height. Oh man, you look beautiful.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Mike check, Jalen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Perfect, right there.
Thank you. Peaks, finishes.
Do you hear him?
No, what'd she say?
What's your roll bite? What are they gonna?
Finish against the Carolina Cobras.
Carolina Cobras.
Carolina Cobras. So,
All right, 4 to 5 fam, get this, listen up. What do you get when you mix fire and football together? Any guesses?
I think you get our very own Jalen Gilkey covering an epic matchup. Today, the Carolina Cobras met up with the Greensboro Fire Department for a combat team challenge. Jalen, this sounds like a lot of fun out there.
and it definitely felt like everyone involved here today
Our team has decided to call out the Cobras. It's just a little fun challenge between two of the top teams in the city. Just a little fun rivalry, trying to start a new bond between us and the Cobras.
I'm feeling confident in a humble way because these guys do this on an everyday basis and they do it with full gear on. So now they don't have any gear and I'm hearing they're doing record time. So I'm confident we gonna beat them.
Challenge for us is a way to showcase the importance of physical fitness as a firefighter. Everything that we do in the challenge on the course is a job function.
Yeah, they look good, man. I'm not scared, you know, but I'm aware. I'm gonna be humble and say it's gonna be a challenge.
And it definitely felt like everyone out here involved today had a great time. Now, to give you a little background about the Fireman's Challenge, it's a state, regional, national, and regional, international competition. So last week, the Greensboro Fire Department, they competed in several challenges in Charleston, South Carolina, where they claimed 6 first place finishes. So after doing all of that, winning in Charleston, why not come home? And what a better way to celebrate than to challenge our Carolina Cobras.
Oh, wow.
We're obviously having some audio issues. We'll work on that with Jalen. This look, I mean, you look at what they were doing. The first thing I thought of was the heat.
Yeah.
Today, with that big hammer doing that out in that heat, I'd pass out.
And dragging
Right.
all the equipment. You got the dummy there, and he's taking that hammer and just going at it. But these guys are tough.
Man.
They definitely have what it takes. And if I was, in distress, I believe they could get the job
Right.
done.
But if it is that hot, they're with firefighters, so surely they can take a hydrant and water hose out.
Spray everybody off.
I know it's too powerful.
Lauren
for
said
that,
something.
but-
We were looking at the video. She goes, "Is that a firefighter or a cobra?" I'm like,
Oh,
"They're
yeah, I
all-
couldn't tell.
But they're all so big. It doesn't matter. You're just
They're
like,
all
it could be
fit
either."
and ready to help fight fires, it looks like.
Can you imagine us if we tried to do that challenge? How pathetic.
That dummy looked like it weighed as much as as me. I don't know if I
I told
could do
Lauren
it.
I'd play that role. They could just drag me around.
Right.
That's the easy
I'd be
part.
like sitting over there,
Watching,
on
under
those
the tent.
chairs,
You'd be
like,
on the
"You go,
sidelines
you go."
cheering, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, but props to them for doing that in this heat. As we said, is super, super hot today. Going to be super, super hot this week.
Yep.
So
They had us one time when I was on the Good Morning Show. They had us put on full gear and go out to a fire station. And I just couldn't get over how, forget whether it's hot or cold, just the weight
It's heavy.
and how
It's
much
heavy.
stuff they carry around. And I think about firefighters when they're running up steps and all that. That's
and
incredible.
it takes time for them to put all their equipment
Yeah.
on too. It's pretty
It's a lot of
intricate.
stuff.
Thank goodness for them, that's for sure. We're going to get Jalen's mic fixed, and then we're coming back in just a minute.
Mother Nature has definitely cranked up the heat this week across the Triad, but these furry friends found a way to keep cool. Just check out these cute pups splashing around at the dog daycare Best Friends Bed and Biscuit in Greensboro. Cute name. They're playing fetch, catch, or just running around the pool. They have found a way to beat the heat. That's what I want right now, is a pool.
That's right. And to think that that's not far from where I live. I've been to that. We used to board our dog there. I
Really?
had no idea that they had a pool for the dogs.
I mean, I don't even have a pool, and the fact that these dogs have a pool to go to, I'm very jealous.
Nice. And look, it's nice. It's not like some pond they're
No.
jumping in. That's really good. Look at them swimming around. That's wonderful.
Well, we all definitely need to find a way to cool off this week.
Yep, you'll need that for the next several days. Find a friend that has a pool, because that is something that you will want. And you know, I will say this though, we were talking upper 90s for a while, so we've turned the volume down on that. So just know that that's not going to be, woo, large and in charge. Let me go over here for a minute and let that rearrange. We're looking at the overnight showers. There we go. The incredible shrinking weather, man. You see lots of lightning strikes with this system. I wanted to show this. We're backing the clock up, so look at the timestamp, top right corner of your screen. That's at between about 2 and 4 a.m., and that's a long line of lightning there. In fact, we look at this across the region and kind of zoom in, and let's take a box here. The number of strikes for this, you can't see, it's blocked by the graphic down there, but it's 116 lightning strikes from Yadkinville up through Walnut Cove and toward Reedsville and Danville. Just in that one line, in this one particular moment, really, we had 116 strikes of lightning. So that overnight situation that we had, no joke. Temperatures, also no joke. 95 in High Point right now. This is not feels like, this is actual temperatures. 91 in Winston-Salem, 92 in Greensboro and Reedsville, 91 in Walnut Cove. You look at the dew point readings, when you get in the 70s, and we see a lot of 70 plus readings for dew points, that's tropical moisture. And that's the kind of what you would feel if you were to be in the islands. I mean, think about that. That's a lot of moisture that we normally don't see. 74 will be the low tonight, mostly clear, still a little bit muggy, and then tomorrow, 93 again. The string of 90s goes on, and it will feel more like, when you factor in the humidity, it'll feel more like 105 tomorrow. Get ready for the heat, and it stays with us for the rest of the work week, and then by the weekend, that's our payoff, folks. 93 tomorrow, 94 on Thursday, and 93 on Friday. Each of those days, a 30 to 40% chance of late day showers and or thunderstorms. The weekend, wonderful. Humidity's dropped, the front kind of clears us. We see things shift a little bit. 86 on Saturday, 83 Sunday, beautiful weekend. Same story next week too, as we go into Monday and Tuesday. That's 84 on Monday and 86 on Tuesday. Don't forget, if you want to stay up to date on the forecast as it changes, because you know it changes really on the hour sometimes. There's that QR code on the bottom right corner of your screen there. You can scan that with your phone and download our app. It is completely free. You'll have that forecast in your pocket all the time.
Think about this. What do you get when you merge focus and potential? Coach Lamont says the answer is a powerful new beginning. Take a listen.
Today we are going to awaken your focus potential. Number one, focus on your strong points. There are areas in life which you excel. There are areas in life where you don't perform your best. Now tap into your strong areas and allow yourself room to grow. Number two, focus on today. Embrace an attitude that yesterday is over and ended at 11:59 p.m. It doesn't matter whether yesterday was good or bad. It happened. Yesterday should never have enough power to hold you captive today. And number three, focus on your contribution. The best version of you will emerge when you decide to use your potential to make the world a better place. A better world is a world where you have excelling power because you have caused others to excel. Awaken your focus today. Life is waiting. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey there, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts.
Well, our very own Chad Silver got a chance to hang out with Broadway's biggest stars over the weekend. The Tony Awards aired Sunday right here on WFMY News 2. Yesterday we talked about the night's top awards and heard a bit from Chad's moments after the show, and we were all jealous.
He is so lucky. I've been looking at
lucky.
his social media the past few hours, and yesterday he was taking all these different selfies with different actors. Orange is the New Black, different things like that. So I'm excited to hear about Chad's trip.
I'm so jealous.
Me
When
too.
I heard about that, I was like, wait a minute, what?
I'm happy for him though. I'm happy for him.
And he
Still
looked
jealous. I know, and now we've got Chad in person so we can talk about everything that you saw. I like the backstory stuff. Did you get to see any of that? Were you just still in the audience, or you were backstage or something, weren't
So
you?
I wasn't backstage, but I got to I was very curious what it was going to look like during commercial breaks, right? So you have like the seat fillers running out, and you have all the TV people, like the people who are running the cameras and all that, just running all over the place during commercial breaks. And then you've got the guy who's going over the I guess the loudspeaker, 30 seconds away, get to your seats, 30 seconds, and then they
That's
do a
crazy.
countdown from like 10 all the way down, then they get to 3 seconds, and they're like, everybody applause, and then it starts, everybody, and then
Tell people, I know what seat fillers are, but explain that.
yeah, so like let's say you win an award, you're in the front seat, and you win an award, you go up on stage, you take the award, and then they take you backstage. They have a seat filler run in to fill your seat, so when they pan the crowd, they don't want to see any empty seats in the front
yes.
rows, so they just have a random person.
That's what you should have been, because then you get to sit right with the stars when they go
next year.
Man.
But I have to say, okay,
Seat
they don't
filler.
have the red carpet, they have a silver carpet, but
Right.
I said, you should have said the silver
carpet.
carpet. What was it like to be on that carpet?
It was so interesting just to, I mean, because you see it on TV, right? You watch the pre-shows, but to actually see it and to see like just the line of reporters from all entertainment networks and television networks just interviewing all these people, it was so weird to be there. It almost felt like I wasn't supposed to be there.
I want to know, how was the after party?
It was.
Wait, did you get to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
It
I
was,
didn't know that part.
It was the craziest, wildest, most surreal experience. Okay, you know when you see someone and you think, I know you from somewhere. Imagine that consistently for 8 hours. Where everyone we walked past, I was like, you've played a dad on some show or some movie.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it was unreal.
Name us some of the people you met.
Yeah, the best person you met.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so Jesse Tyler Ferguson from
okay,
Modern
yes.
Family, that was great. The woman, the kid who plays Dustin on Stranger Things
Oh, wow.
was
With the
so
curly
cool,
hair.
very nice. The woman who played Tasty in Orange is the New Black was the nicest person that I met
Yeah, I
the
saw
whole
that
time.
picture.
Yep, I saw like Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, it was wild.
Fangirling.
I talked to Andrew Garfield. He was too
What?
busy for a picture, unfortunately. But I mean, everywhere you looked, there were just famous people, and they were in the line for food right behind you. I mean,
But beyond there being celebrities, you know, you've been to the Tanger Center, you've been to other shows and award shows. How was this one different?
because you knew everybody who was there, and it
Yeah.
was such on a broad stage. And what was great about it is they were talking about how big of a deal this year was, because Broadway, it was its first season back. Everybody was able to be there in person, and it really was a joyous occasion for everybody in these Broadway companies and those who support Broadway, because it was like the resurgence of Broadway.
What an experience. You'll never forget this.
Never again.
He's
I
got
will
his
never
ticket
forget it.
too. He had his ticket here.
Oh
just a
yeah,
moment
show
ago.
that off.
We probably can't get a tight
see if
shot.
we can.
Maybe on 4. But that is, let's just to keep that and to frame it
Even
with
that
a,
looks regal.
There you go. Yep. Nice. All right, take a look at that. We'll
So
be right back. I'm
fancy.
so jealous. Hi there, welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric, Stacy, and Lauren with you on a first name basis now. That's the way it works. All right, steamy day across the Triad. Make sure you're hydrated. You don't want to overdo it in this kind of weather.
Yeah, you don't want to pass out, but make sure you stick with us here on WFMY News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and the WFMY News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet.
And we've also got some ways you can cut corners on your energy bill coming up. But for now, we have to talk about the forecast. Is it going to cool off anytime soon?
It will, and just in time for the weekend, which is perfect for this. So if you have outdoor plans then, things are looking good. In the short term, we are dealing with some high heat and humidity, aren't we? It's going to stay that way for a while. And as you look at our radar, I want to show you this thunderstorm last night. A lot of people, we got emails about this, and people were saying, wow, this came out of nowhere. It went through a little upper level trough that skirted by in the overnight hours. We did see a good bit of lightning. If you missed it earlier, I showed this, 116 lightning strikes, and this is just in that one little 4 or 5 minute time period. So there was way more than that, but it was all over the Triad, and it skirted down from the northwest back down to the southeast. The question is, will we see that again? We could see that anytime temperatures are this warm. We can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm at any time. Temperatures right now are hot. Burlington, you're at 94 degrees. We have 92 in Greensboro. High point, 95, and with dew points in the 70s for a lot of readings. That means that we're seeing tropical moisture across the area. So tonight, 74 degrees, mostly clear, a little warm and muggy. Tomorrow, a late day isolated storm, not a huge chance, but we'll go 30% on that, and a high temperature of 93.
Rising temperatures can drive up your energy bills, but all hope isn't lost. Duke Energy says there are some ways customers can shave off a few dollars. They recommend changing air filters regularly because dirty ones make your AC system work harder than it needs to. Also, make sure unnecessary lights are turned off and air leaks by doors and windows are sealed. Customers can also contact Duke Energy to set up budget alerts ahead of really hot days. The company can use a smart meter to track your usage and let you know when it's expected to go up.
Now let's get into your 4 to 5 roundup. Right now, law enforcement needs your help in finding a 15-year-old girl. Police say Layla Graves was last seen leaving a home in Greensboro on Wednesday morning. Officers say she is 5'2", 120 pounds with red and black two-toned hair. They say she was wearing a gray hoodie, black leggings, and gray Crocs when she left. If you've seen her or know anything about her whereabouts, call police. Police say a man and woman are in jail after a shooting at a gas station. One man was shot and is recovering at the hospital. Officers say it happened last week at the Huffs in Burlington. They charge Michael Daniels with attempted first-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. Samantha Vogel was charged with aiding and abetting. The war in Eastern Europe is causing a shortage of grain. Both Russia and Ukraine are major suppliers of grain to the global market. Right now, U.S. officials say there's about 20 million barrels of the crop stuck in Ukraine. They say Russia is not only blocking the exports, but they're also destroying crops in Ukraine. President Biden says his administration is working with European partners to get the grain out of Ukraine and into the world market to help bring those prices down. On the war front, the situation is turning dire in a critical city in the east of the country. Troops defending the area have lost more ground to Russian troops in intense fighting. One official in the region says the city could soon be cut off with no way to evacuate civilians. Ukraine is asking for an additional 1,000 long-range weapons, 500 tanks, and 1,000 drones.
With inflation, gas prices, rent, and COVID-19, it's understandable if you're feeling a little overwhelmed these days. Thankfully, there are 2 new hotlines tackling the mental health crisis in our country. Starting July 16th, anyone in America will be able to dial 988 and be directed straight to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. When people call, they'll be connected with counselors who can listen, provide support and resources. It's 24/7 free and confidential. Dr. Andrew Farah says he believes this will raise awareness, also allow accessibility, even as we deal with the psychiatrist shortage. He says in the past 2 years, self-harm behaviors and suicide attempts have doubled, and 37% of adults have some degree of depression.
The great things about a hotline is it raises awareness. It lets you know there's help out there, there's availability, and you get expert advice. And you can be anonymous, and some people may be embarrassed to talk about these kinds of things.
The government has also recently launched a new maternal mental health hotline. It's also free and confidential, but it's specifically for expecting and new moms. Dr. Farah says 1 in 10 women will be diagnosed with postpartum depression.
Depression is so prevalent in our communities, in our world, that there's nothing to be ashamed of, and it doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean you're a bad mother. It doesn't mean the guilt is just ridiculous, and it is something that just like diabetes is something to be fixed.
Now, he wants to remind everyone to take care of yourself, exercise, sleep, and take vitamins. If things don't improve, call your doctor. And for more information, including signs of depression and postpartum depression, just find this story on our website, WFMYnews2.com. Now, getting back to taking care of yourself, I asked you on my Facebook page what you do to take care of yourself. Gia says, fresh air. I take time outside every day, no matter what is going on, sit outside and enjoy nature, relaxing, refreshing, and peaceful. Cassandra says, relaxing and loving myself. Jan exercises, eats right, and prays. Brian walks between 20 to 30,000 steps at work. He says, I do a lot of walking. Yeah, that is a lot. Steph takes care by giving all to the Lord and praying for the best. Our Julie Luck says, lots of rest. And Lauren said, I have days where I do absolutely nothing, just relax, watch TV, maybe read a book. No phone calls, no work emails, just relaxing.
I call those my don't bother me days.
Yes.
And I had one
Great.
of those on Sunday. And this might be a little TMI. I stayed in the bed all day. I didn't jump in the shower till about 4 o'clock.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes sometimes I have days where I don't even walk outside the house.
Just disconnect.
Just
which I
disconnect
love.
and just
I love
watch
that.
true crime all day, maybe DoorDash a little bit. You just really need, and there's nothing wrong with not doing anything.
No, that's
Because usually
right.
we feel guilty about, I should be doing this, I should be doing that.
That's
No.
exactly right. And so my wife said, what do you want for Father's Day? I said, I want a nothing day.
Yeah.
I want to just chill.
You guys go to the park. I'll pay for you to take a beach trip.
Do anything. And I don't care, whether, really, to be honest, it's whether if the kids are there, fine. If they're not there, fine. If she's there, I just don't want to have to do anything for one full day.
A lot of times, taking a break for me is literally just not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
Like some days I'm just so tired that I just want to sit in a room and it to be quiet. I don't want to have a conversation. I just want to zen out.
I like coffee on the back porch in the morning.
I like
When
that.
it's early and there's not really anything but the birds out there and me, I love that.
It makes me appreciate and understand my parents. When my mom used to have these days where she'd like to just lay on the couch after church and watch Lifetime movies all day, and I'd be like, can we do this? Can we do that? She'd be like, Lauren Coleman, I am trying to relax. And now I understand. So sorry, Mom, for always bothering you on those days.
You made me think of a funny story. Frank Mickens, who used to anchor here, told me, he said, when I was a kid, my dad would go read the paper in the car with the AC on in the summer. And he goes, and I didn't understand it until I had kids. And now he said, I know why he does it.
He would hid in the car.
He would sit in the air conditioning in the car and read the
hilarious.
papers. So it's so funny.
The things we do for some alone time.
Oh, so needed.
Well, digging deeper into ways to protect your mental health, Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, is here to discuss managing life's daily stressors. Blanca, there's a lot to worry about right now. COVID infection rates, higher food, and don't get me started on these gas prices. So how can we cope with all of these things that are pretty much out of our control?
That is the $1 million question. So what happens is I'm sorry, there's a little bit of technical difficulty on my end. My apologies for that. Okay, let me pick up where I left off. So what happens is when you're really stressed out, is that you just can't concentrate, you can't relax. You're just like constantly on edge. And that's why it's so important to get a hold of that stress. So to answer your question is you really have to find ways, be purposeful and intentional in finding ways to relax yourself. Because if you don't relax, then what's going to happen is you're going to run on adrenaline, and you can only run so long before you're going to collapse. And a lot of it is just mental exhaustion.
So Blanca, what happens when that stress, how can it impact our health?
What happens is stress is a silent killer. So what that means is that physiologically, your body can only take so much, and as well as your emotional health. So when we're talking about stress level, your cortisol level, which is that stress hormone, just increases. Your blood pressure increases. Your heart rate increases. A lot of times people will feel just very hot. They'll start to get sweaty, or they'll want to cool down, and they might loosen up their shirt a little bit just because they're so hot. And then emotional health, that anxiety increases. You might have sleep problems. You might eat don't eat, or you might overeat. And the thing is, you just can't relax, and you find yourself that you're more sensitive and you get more irritable to things that normally don't bother you. And then the biggest thing is, and this is where it have the biggest impact, is that sometimes you just don't even think straight, like that saying. But what happens is you don't think rationally, because you can be impulsive. And what happens, and the reason this can be so fatal, is because you can make really impulsive, bad choices that can impact you or your family because of stress. That's why it's so important to get control over it.
You got to get a hold of it. I know I like to go out for a run, like to work out. How can people control their stress if they're dealing with it?
Another great question. Look, you have to let go what you can't control, but control what you can. And what you can control is, one, your attitude, and two, are plans that you make. But you have to have plan upon plan upon plan. Because one thing that we've learned over the past several years is that there's so much that's unpredictable about life right now, that we have the war in Ukraine and what's happening with the gas prices and energy costs and food prices. We just don't know when to anticipate when these strange things happen that are out of our control. But if you have different plans, like you have step one, okay, so when I start feeling a money pinch, for example, a lot of people can relate to this. When I start feeling a money pinch, and this is what I have to do in step one, this is where no extra expenses. Step two might be, okay, what costs can we just get rid of? So you just have to evaluate, like, it's really important. That gives you control. That puts you in the driver's seat, and you're going to feel better about it. And then also, just relax. Relax. It's so hard to do, but you really have to be intentional in finding ways to relax.
Just relax. Thank you so much for that advice. Definitely, with everything that's going on in the world, it can certainly be overwhelming. You can continue the conversation with Blanca here on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be back after this quick break.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Okay, friends, I want you to think of the words that you know by heart. It could be a rhyme, a prayer, a jingle. What do you know by heart?
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Oh, yes, okay.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
All the Schoolhouse Rock, Tanya. You remember Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday
I'm
morning?
just a bill.
Sitting on
Like
Capitol
I'm just
Hill.
a bill, yes. I know all those and
Okay.
multiplication tables, yep.
I know a lot of songs, I guess, but then some Bible verses as well.
Okay. Well, there are lots of things that we know by heart, right? And today we're celebrating Flag Day, and the 31 words we all know by heart. We've been saying the words since we were kids, right? Yes, I pledge allegiance to the flag. There you go.
The
Okay.
United States of America.
All right. Well,
Are we
what's
gonna say the whole thing?
interesting, little friends, about this is that all those words weren't always there. So let's explain. So these are the 31 words that you know, right? But when the pledge first came out, it looked like this. You can see the words that were not included. The author, Francis Bellamy, wrote the pledge for all countries to use. It wasn't until 1923 that the words of the United States of America were included. And it would be decades before the pledge changed again. It was in 1954. President Eisenhower was responding to the communist threat and encouraged Congress to add the words under God. And of course, this is how it stands today. Now, before I started researching, I had no idea that there was a pledge written for all other countries to use.
I've never heard that.
This is
my whole
new
life.
to me.
I did not know that. I didn't know about the revision in 54 on there?
Me neither.
I love that.
Okay, so just like the pledge, the flag itself has gone through changes as well. I want you to take a look at this. This is the Field of Honor at Triad Park in Kernersville. Each flag has a plaque giving you the history. We're going to start with one right here. It's the Sons of Liberty flag, 1775. It's known as the Rebellious Stripes. The Sons of Liberty, Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, John Hancock, they planned and carried out the Boston Tea Party. Now, this one is called the Grand Union flag. It was the unofficial flag on Independence Day, July 4th, 1776. It's considered the first flag of America. And then this one right here, June 14th, 1777, the Second Continental Congress adopted this flag, 13 red and white alternating stripes. The stars represent the number of states. We'll be right back.
You know, if your teen needs something to do this summer, the fine people at the Greensboro Science Center have a program that not only teaches you about aquatic life in North Carolina, but you can actually do some real research. It's what to see at the GSC. All right, so we're talking about, when you brought me out to the pond, I said, what are we doing here? What is this all about?
So this is about an experience that we offer here in the summer. It's our Aquatic Ecosystems Summer Camp for high school age students. And we play outside the bulk of the time. And a lot of the time we are in wet environments, like the pond that you see behind us.
So what are we gonna do now? I see all your stuff.
Oh, all my stuff. So we're gonna do a handful of things, and that ranges from looking at the water to looking at what lives in the water, and you can probably hear some of the inhabitants behind me croaking and making their sounds. But we're gonna get a water sample, and then we're gonna take these, which are very small dip nets, and we're gonna put them in the water and see if we get anything inside of them.
Oh, cool. All right,
well, let's get down here. All right, so that is our water sample, and we're gonna take it inside, and we are gonna run some tests on it to see what's going on with our water.
See, there's things you can't see.
That's right, things you cannot see, but we are gonna find out. So we have the little water quality kits, but then what we'll do is take samples like you had, and we'll run a full panel of water quality in here, which is what she's doing, like oxygen and pH right now.
All right, Lindsay, you got me now. We're at a desk. I feel like a real scientist. What are we doing?
So we also like to look at different mammals that live around water. And here are camera analysis at the Science Center. Go ahead and start clicking through and see, what do you see in those photos?
Oh, look at that deer. And those are cameras that are here at the Science Center?
That's here at the Science Center.
Wow.
So you would ID the species and how many are there.
Okay.
We also look at flying mammals like bats.
What do I hit here?
Alt-tab.
Is that right?
This is a spectrogram of a bat call. Go ahead and push play. We've slowed it down to 1/8 of the call.
Whoa. So can we actually hear that ourselves?
No, it's above human hearing, so we have to use a program to reduce it down to a frequency we can hear. But they use that echolocation bouncing off of stuff, and that's what you're hearing.
And that's why this is a high school age program.
This is a high school age program, exactly. These are real techniques that we use in science, in academic work.
In the real world.
In the real world.
Lindsay, that's cool. I feel like a junior scientist now. Awesome.
Great. Let me grab some waders and we can go get some toes out of the pond.
In the pond?
Yeah, you game?
No, thank you.
Hey, hey.
Are down more than 20% from its peak. Investors and businesses are bracing for tomorrow's decision from the federal.
Callie, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When did you add the medical marijuana bill? Hello? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there we go. I hear myself. Cool. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check. Me? I'm in the hallway. No, it's literally at the top. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I can't move it up anymore. It's literally on my chest. I can't move it.
It's time for my 2 cents. For those who follow me on social media, you know I'm a self-proclaimed chef. I love to cook. Buffalo chicken stuffed bell peppers, cheeseburger egg rolls, pumpkin spice muffins. I'm always looking for something new to create. Sometimes I write a grocery list for items I need for a recipe. Other times, I just wing it, eyeballing and throwing foods in my basket that pique my interest. But with the cost of gas and groceries going up these days, I quickly realized I could no longer go to the grocery store without a plan. With less than a dozen items in my cart totaling nearly $100, I knew I needed to make a change. Here are a few simple changes I've made that have helped to stretch my dollar. Number 1, make a budget and a list and stick to it. Look to see what items you already have in your pantry. Determine how much money you're willing to spend, then create a shopping list based on that information. Number 2 is a no-brainer. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. When you're hungry, it can get hard to stick to that list. Everything that comes across your path looks tasty. Eating a light snack before heading to the store can help cut down on impulse buys. Number 3, consider meal prepping. When your meals are already prepped for the week, you'll feel less inclined to go through the drive-thru after work. I know, grocery shopping can be a tedious task, but try your best not to pick up food on the way home. Those few extra dollars saved can go a long way. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.